Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. In War of the Visions, it's the beginning of a new month, so let's look at the updates, specifically looking at the Antlers and Scrolls that we need to do the Dream upgrade that was added with the 3rd anniversary. And I can also talk about what kind of reactions I've been seeing from JP users about the system. And then finally we can do a summary of how much we need to do 80 resets of a UR character, which seems to be the limit. Okay, but let's go to the Mog shop. And here, under Soul Medals, I saw these. But we have 3 antlers available every month at every rarity, and the rate is pretty high. Especially if we look at the rainbow ones, but 500 for one. And then of course we can use these medals to go for the Mind Spheres as well. And so, for people that are not super whales, this is going to be a hard choice. Do you pick the Mind Spheres, or do you pick the upgrade materials? And then a 200 for a batch of scrolls. This would be good for 1 reset. And then we are going to need 80 perhaps, so 1600 scrolls for a month. It's not really going to make a dent. And the rest of it's going to have to come from like pulls or other Vision Aura like paid options. And I wish that they added like stuff to friend medals or something. But yeah, as we can see, it's only SR or below here for friend medals. Arena I think had nothing at all. PvP, nothing at all. And then Guild, yeah, again, just the lower rarity stuff, so not very cool. And then here we can look at the Dream upgrade schedule for December. This is a lot. And will the people telling me to be patient agree with me now that we need a lot more handed out materials? But reading down the list, week 1, Perene and then Nurugia. These are the new Crystal Warriors that are part of the part 2, the return of the Another Story. Week 2, we got Warrior of Light, Vinera, Lucia, Queen Mashiri, that's the cost 100 version. Gurasira looks like the regular UR, Luasa, and then lower rarity, Lavius, Dario, and Valide. I'm not super jazzed about any of these. I might do Dario. I like the lower rarity tanks. Lucia and Luasa maybe someday in the future, but not anytime soon. Okay, and then the 3rd week we have the Christmas characters, Ramada, Mashiri, Vinera, Victora, and Luasa. Mashiri is a lock, definitely want to do her. Victora is a maybe. Ramada, they're going to have to do something amazing to upgrade her to make me want to work on her. And then Luasa, I forgot that I had her actually, so she might be a good candidate as well. Okay, and then the 4th month we got Setia, Lanan, a couple of old Crystal Warriors, Ayaka, Black Fina, Dark Fina, Jiza, Victora, Miranda, and then some lower rarity characters, Dairyu, Etoa, and Uni. Miranda is a lock for me. I might do Etoa as well, that's the farmable Earth handout MR unit. And then maybe Setia. It's still shocking to me that Global wrote off Setia so hard after JP users liked her quite a bit and kind of ushered in a fire renaissance in PvP. But putting that aside, I'm still interested in Setia because if I were smart about the Dream upgrades, I would focus on cost 100 units and then only certain elements, and then Setia fits both of those since I love fire. Okay, next let's look at the banners. Let's see if there's any antlers or scrolls in here. Spoiler alert, not really. Yeah, here's some scrolls. I will pull this, 20 scrolls for 600 Vision Aura. That would be worth it. And then we got all of the old banners here. Nothing really to mention. This weekend, I think I will do the rest of the pulls for Dark Ifrit. Just need to do 100 more. Okay, and then here I guess we can turn to talking about the JP player's reaction to the Dream upgrade system. I heard one person call it a prisoner's dilemma situation, which I hadn't considered, but it does make sense. I said this when Dwayne was released in JP, and everyone was upset about the faster pace of Cost 100 releases, but the pace of power creep in PvP is determined by the user base. The developers, they can release whatever they like, however quickly they like, but if the user base doesn't adopt it, it won't affect the pace of power creep in the PvP meta. So we see people already maxing out UR units by resetting them 80 times, and that puts pressure on other people that care about PvP to also reset their characters 80 times. And furthermore, since resetting a character that many times is so expensive and so difficult to do, it will motivate people to do it only for the best, most meta characters, which leads to less variety in PvP. The current choices now being Sephiroth and Yuffie. Most people are not willing or able to do that many resets, but among the players that do or will do that, I sense defensiveness from them. They can of course see the dissatisfaction with the system in the community, but try to spin it so that they don't look like bad guys. They say like, it doesn't matter what your stats are, player skill counts for the most, and I'm skeptical about that. Like, the difference between a level 120 character and a level 140 character reset 80 times is pretty big. It's significantly more than the difference between 99 and 120, I would say. With inferior stats, you can still play to maximize advantages, exploit weaknesses and still win, but at a certain point, the stat difference just becomes so great that it's no longer possible to bridge that gap. Alright, and then here, let's change microphones. The other one crapped out on me. I definitely need to buy a new computer. Sorry if the difference in sound quality is jarring. But to continue, I heard someone complain. They were saying like, if I win with 80 reset characters, I want to be recognized for winning through skill, not simply for using 80 reset characters. I see that as people wanting their cake and eating it too. But yeah, that's the overall kind of impressions that I'm getting from JP players about the Dream upgrade. I feel like the developers made a mistake making the ceiling that high. They probably assumed or hoped people wouldn't max out characters immediately, but of course people did. I mean, you look at how people maxed out Zazan here in JP. Some people are crazy. But if going forward there are enough complaints about PvP having become too unfair or too pay to win, the developers will course correct by giving everyone more materials, and then we'll be back where we started with a level playing field, but with more busy work to do in order to reach that spot. And I've seen an interesting comparison drawn between the Dream upgrade system and the Trust Stones system. With the Dream system, the buffs the characters get are set and decided ahead of time. It's just a matter of how far down the tracks we want to go with a particular character. But the Trust Stones really are about customization. Depending on which Trust Master you choose for a character, and which buffs you put on it, we can really make the character play differently from someone else using the same character. I think that aspect of Trust Stones is very cool, and it is definitely endgame content for the users that enjoy that kind of thing, but it's beyond how much I want to invest into the game, time-wise or attention-wise, so I won't really touch it. And then finally, to talk real quick about kind of the amount of materials that we need in order to reset a UR character about 80 times. It's going to come out to about 1600. That's the magic number. But 1600 of the scrolls, the rainbow scrolls, to do the reset 80 times, and then 1600 mind spheres in order to do it about 80 times. That should be setting off alarms in people's heads, but 1600 is more than what we need in total to take a character to 120. So we're more than doubling the price of maxing out a character now. So maybe now, hopefully, the people that are encouraging me to be patient will agree with me that we need more handout of this stuff. Alright, so I am not feeling good about this system. I don't think anybody is. But since I have kind of moved away from PvP, it's not going to affect me as much. We'll see how the power creep in PvE progresses moving forward, how much it will require the Dream upgrade and then resets. Okay, that'll do it for this video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again. Take care.